Welcome back to the Brain Mission channel, and today we're continuing to explore the primary exit profile, otherwise called PEP. And today we're going to look at the performance task for language arts, and we're looking at the past paper for June 2023, and we're going to attempt to see how well we would have done in preparation for the PEP performance task language arts for 2024. Okay. So let's jump in. So normally, you'd write your name and the name of your school. And normally, you know that you need not to open this booklet until you're told to do so by the invigilator. Okay, let's jump in the general instructions. Now, this task has two parts. Part 1 has 5 questions. Part 2 has an essay. Instructions to begin. There are 3 sources. Read the sources carefully, then use them to answer the questions in Part 1. As well as to write your essay in Part 2. So we're going to use all the sources provided to not only answer the questions in Part 1, but to help us to write the essay in Part 2. So, hey, clear instructions. Let's jump in. The title here, Invention That Changed Our Lives. So, the introduction to the task. Here's the introduction. Your teacher is planning to buy a new car. She has asked you to do a research on cars. In conducting your research, you found 3 sources, right? Read the sources on page 4, 5, and 6 carefully, then use them to answer the questions that follow in Part 1A, Part 1B, and Part 2. Hey, look at these cars. I remember this. This is the Beetle VW, right? And this is a Pro Box. So you might know these, maybe. But I've never seen this one in real life. Looks nice, I guess. All right, so source 1. Let's take a look at source 1. The Ford models. Have you ever wondered about when people first started to drive around in cars? Well, that started over 100 years ago. Several inventors built cars during that time, and Henry Ford was one of them. Beginning in 1903, Henry Ford made a series of cars including the Model T, also known as the Ford Model T. Ford named his car, or the first car, the Model A, and proceeded through the alphabet up to the Model T. 20 models in all. The model immediately before the Model T was the Model S, an upgraded version of the Model N. The Model S has larger tires than previous models. This made riding on bumpy roads more bearable. Also, the Model S had an additional seat at the back called a rumble seat. This seat was spacious and ideal for transporting an adult or children. And you can see the picture of the Ford Model T. To continue, the Ford Model T was sold from October 1st, 1908 to May 26th, 1927. It is generally regarded as the first affordable automobile. This was because of Ford's effort to reduce the cost of making the car. The Model T was an important car. The Model T was successful not only because it provided inexpensive transportation on a wide scale, but also because the car represented an invention that was available to the average person. This was the focus of its inventor, Henry Ford. Over 16.5 million Model T cars were sold in the United States. Although automobiles were being made from about 1880, they were still mostly expensive and often unreliable. The Model T was different. It was reliable, easily maintained, and an affordable mode of transportation. It was a runaway success. In a matter of days after the release, 15,000 orders were placed. The first Model T was made on August 12, 1908 and left the factory in Detroit, Michigan on September 27, 1908. Today, car makers such as Toyota, Nissan, Honda, and Suzuki also make cars that are affordable to almost anyone and much safer too. Okay, so that was very informative, and that was source 1. Let's move to source 2, the wheels of time. Automobiles made since 1880 were designed mostly as a means of transportation. However, as time passed, automobile manufacturers began including features that improved the driving experience. Did you know that before 1930, there were no radios in cars, no air conditioning, and that car windows were controlled by a window winder, not the push of a button? Actually, it's true. Later, other features were added. These included seat belts, airbags, glass windscreens, lights, and rearview mirrors. Seat belts were an important addition. This is because they prevent passengers from being tossed about in the event of an accident. Airbags were also useful for cushioning the body in an accident. Now all cars have airbags. Airbags are released instantly to prevent the driver's face or head from being injured by the windscreen. The airbags also help to protect passengers. The glass used to make the windscreen is of a special type. It breaks in tiny pieces, which reduces the risk of injury to the occupants in the car if an accident occurs. Rearview mirrors were another addition. They help drivers to safely change lanes. They're also useful when reversing and parking. Another feature that was added to cars was adjustable seats. This allows drivers to change the position of their seats based on their height. It also makes it possible to move the seat closer or further away from the steering wheel. Okay, and in 1933, air conditioning was also included as a way of making drivers and passengers more comfortable. This is especially useful for drivers and passengers who live in places that have a tropical climate like ours, right? So when you're riding comfortable in a car, just remember that if you were born 100 years ago, your experience might have been different. Wow, this is good. All right, so that was source 2. Let's move to source 3, which is Side Impact Protection System, otherwise called SIPS. The Side Impact Protection System, SIPS, was first introduced in 1991 by car manufacturer Volvo. It is now a feature on all Volvo cars. Other cars manufacturers such as BMW, Nissan, Honda, and Toyota, and Hyundai have started to use SIPs, though not all the cars they make actually have those, right? So SIPs consist of a cylindrical metal bar in each car door. The purpose of these bars is to reduce the possibility of passengers being injured in a car that has been hit in the side. Wow. Yeah, this is new. This is new to me. All right, so good. Those are the 3 sources that we're using. Now let's get down to business. So part 1, use the sources to help you answer the questions in this section, right? Part 1 has 5 questions. Read each of them carefully and then write your answer in the space provided. Okay. All right. To make this video short, I've already written the answers in, okay? But what we can pay attention to carefully is that it's how the answers are written and also where I got the answers from, all right? So the first question is, which was the first affordable car? So when you're asked a question, especially writing for language arts, you don't want to just write the answer. You also want to make it a little, elaborative, or make it very comprehensive. So here's an example. According to source 1, the Ford Model T was the first affordable car. All right. So I wrote my answer in that format. All right. That's a very good way to write your answers. Now, where did I get my answer from? So the question again, is which was the first affordable car? That would have been in source 1, right? So let's check it out. I think I had highlighted these. All right, so Ford named this car. I think I highlighted those. Where did the highlight go? All right, but let's look at it again. Okay, so here it is. It is generally regarded as the first affordable automobile. So this is where I got my answer from, right here. So definitely that answer is correct. So according to source one, the Ford Model T was the first affordable car. All right. How many models of cars did Ford make in the early 1900s? So let's check that out. How many? I think it was 20, right? Based on what we saw there. And he used the letter of alphabet. So Ford named his first car the Model A and proceeded through the alphabet up to Model T. 20 models in all. So yes, the answer is 20 models, but I wrote it like this. According to source one, Ford made 20 car models. Okay, this, I'm sorry, should be models. In the early 1900s, all right? Yay, all right. Let's continue. So the next one is, on which car was the side impact protection system first used? Yeah, that should be an easy one. I think that was in source 3. So here it is. The side impact protection system SIPS was first introduced in 1991 by car manufacturer Volvo. So what car was it? Volvo. So I just wrote my answer according to source 3. The side impact protection system was first used on Volvo cars. Good. All right. Let's move on. Which source has the most recent information about automobile safety? Now my answer, I have source 3 has the most recent information on automobile safety, introducing the side impact system in 1991. Why I said that? Because this actually was introduced in 1991. There were some introduced here, but these were talking about 1930, not 1980 and 1930. And this one to me would have been the most current, which is the SIPS, right? So that's why my answer would be source 3 has the most recent information on automobile safety, introducing the side impact system SIPS in 1991. All right, and that was question 4. All right, so question 5, read the conclusion below. Then find one piece of evidence from source 1 and one piece of evidence from source 2 that could support the conclusion. Write your answer in the table below. All right, so here is what he's saying here. He says safety was not, operative word, not, at first the main concern of car manufacturers. So we need 2 evidence to support that. One from source 1, one from source 2. Source 1, I have today car makers such as Toyota, Nissan, Honda, and Suzuki also make cars that are affordable to almost anyone and much safer. So when I read this here, it didn't, and that's from source 1 actually. Source 1 gave information and it did say that, Henry Ford actually paid attention to more of, I would say, affordability, but it didn't say the other car models were doing the same thing. The only thing I saw in this as reference was here. So that's why I wrote it there, right? All right, cool. And finally, for source 2, it was very simple and straightforward. The evidence is that automobiles made since 1880 were designed mostly as a means of transportation. So when you look at source 2, it's right there in plain sight. Automobiles made since 1880 were designed mostly as a means of transportation. So that is clear. So that answer is definitely what we need for source 2, right? All right, our evidence for source 2. Okay, so we have cleared part 1. Let's jump into part 2. Instructions. Read the task below and the information about what to include in your essay. Now that you have done your research on cars, begin your work. So the task is, write an essay in which you identify 3 features that are important for cars to have today. Be sure to explain how each feature is important. Your essay must include evidence from 2 of the sources You may include you may also include your own experiences. Okay? All right. So this is very, very, very important for you to read this carefully. All right. These that are highlighted in bold, please pay attention to those. So you have to use a 3 right here, right? And you also need to ensure you include this in there. And it also says how each feature works, that is. And it also is asking you that you must include evidence from 2 of the sources. So these are things that you definitely need to pay attention to. All right. Now, when you write your essay, remember that it should have an introduction and conclusion. All right. Stay on the topic. Don't deviate. Use details from 2 of the sources to support your opinion. Give details from the sources in your own words. Follow the rules of writing, spelling, punctuation, and grammar usage. So it's very important that you follow these instructions when you're writing your essay. Now, what I've done is to actually write an essay, right? That I'm going to share with you. Okay, I think this is it. So here's my essay, and you're trying to make your essay creative. So what I did for my introduction is to try to be a little creative. You know that cars go vroom vroom. So I want, when my readers are reading, they get something that reminds them of a car or something. So I started my essay introduction as vroom vroom, 3 essential safety features for modern day cars. And it's very important that we punctuate. So vroom, vroom. You have exclamation, exclamation. Then 3 essential safety features for modern day cars. I just use that one sentence as a paragraph. You can do the same, but you don't have to, all right? All right, so according to source 2, so I want to ensure that so remember what the information was. We're supposed to ensure that we utilize what is in the sources, right? Or to give details from the sources in your own words, but you're going to use details from the 2 sources. One way to do that is to use words like according to source 1, according to source 2. So I started like that, right? So according to source 2, automobiles made since 1880 were designed mostly as a means of transportation, right? So I want to start my introduction like that because I want my readers to be pulled into what I am actually writing, or it's called a thesis. So you want to ensure that you have like a 1 sentence or 2 that will tell you everything about your essay already, and then you go into the essay bit by bit. Okay, so according to source 2, automobiles made since 1880 were designed mostly as a means of transportation, right? Time passed, automobile manufacturers began including features that improved the driving experience. Why has there been a shift? So I want to get the readers to stay with me, and I ask them a question. Why has there been a shift? For them to follow me. So this part of the essay is like, okay, you're getting information and you want to know why is it that automobiles or manufacturers are now looking in the direction of making safer cars. That will keep your readers in tune, right? So first and foremost, advanced safety systems are crucial in modern vehicles to ensure the well-being of both drivers and passengers. While there are a lot of safety features, let's explore 3 essentials for today's cars. So what I did was to lay the groundwork to say, okay, I want to explore 3 important safety features, but I want to start by creating some form of, I would say, awareness of why I am going into the 3 safety features. It's like, what's in it for me? So the readers will continue to read, because they want to find out what's in it for me as a reader. All right. All right. So let's jump into the first one. Glass windscreens are important for a number of reasons. They provide protection from wind, rain, debris, and insects while driving. According to source 2, they also help to maintain the structural integrity of the vehicle by breaking in tiny pieces in the event of a collision. So I took that piece from the source. That would be source 2. However, I put it in my own words, right? I took a little bit of what, if you can remember, if we go back to the source, you can remember what was written just to kind of remind you. So for windscreen, it says, let's look for it. Okay, so here it should be here somewhere. Okay, it breaks into tiny pieces. So the glass used to make the windscreen is of a special type. It breaks into tiny pieces, which reduces the reduces the risk of injury to the occupants. So I kind of took a little bit out of that, but guess what? I kind of make it my own or personalize it, in other words, so it makes sense and it's also coming from the source. All right. Additionally, they improve visibility for the driver, allowing them to see clearly and safely navigate the road. And pay attention to your punctuation. If you want to know where to put a comma, if you're reading, you read as if you're explaining what you're reading, and then you will realize where you need to have a pause or a question mark, etc., right? Or a period. So you want to read your work afterwards, and then you will want to ensure that you punctuate. So afterwards, we're going to read this again, and if there's punctuation missing, then we can put those in, all right? All right, the next one would be earbags. Earbags are important safety features in vehicles because they help to protect occupants in the event of an accident. According to source 2, earbags are released instantly to prevent the driver's face or head from being injured by the windscreen. They work in conjunction with the seat belts to provide additional protection in crashes. And here I already know that there should be a period, right? All right. Side impact protection system SIPs consists of a cylindrical metal bar, and you know I got that from source 3 because it's right there. So I just kind of use a little bit of it, but guess what? I didn't just use it word for word, right? Metal bar in each car door. According to source 3, they are important because they help to prevent serious injuries to passengers in a car that has been hit in the side. So guess what? In conclusion, as technology continues to advance, cars today need to have advanced safety systems, but I think glass windscreens, earbags, and side impact protection SIPs are must-haves, right? So drive safely on the road, vroom vroom. So that is it, my essay. Now let's go through and ensure that it's punctuated properly. So vroom vroom, 3 essential safety features for modern day cars. This looks like it's fine to me. Now let's read the rest. According to source 2, automobiles, there could be a comma here. According to source 2, and this actually should be in lowercase. So according to source 2, automobiles made since 1880 were designed mostly as a means of transportation. So that is fine, no comma needed. Time passed, this is fine, right? Or you could just put a comma right here. Time passed, automobile manufacturers began including features that improve the driving experience. Nothing here, right? Why has there been a shift? We know that should be a question. And then we need to start with an uppercase. So first and foremost, comma, Advanced safety systems are crucial in modern vehicles to ensure the well-being of both drivers, comma should be here, both drivers and passengers, right? All right, while there are a lot of safety features, comma, let's explore three essentials for today's car. Okay, so this here is saying that I should put a semicolon. I'll just leave it there, right? And let's should have an apostrophe right here. All right, features, and let's explore three essentials for the car for today's car. All right, remember I'm doing this in Word, so it might want to change these to a semicolon, but definitely a comma can work here as well. All right, so glass windscreens are important for a number of reasons, and we know we start with an uppercase G, right, and a period to end the sentence. And remember that I put a space between just to show that this is a different paragraph as well. All right. So glass windscreens are important for a number of reasons. Period. So uppercase. They provide protection from wind, comma, rain, comma, debris, comma, and insects while driving. Period. And uppercase. According to source 2, they also help to maintain the structural integrity of the vehicle by breaking in tiny pieces in the event of a collision. Period. Okay, uppercase. Additionally, comma, they improve visibility for the driver, comma, allowing them to see clearly and safely navigate the road. Right? Airbags are important safety features in vehicles because they help to protect occupants in the event of an accident. Period. According to source 2, airbags are released instantly to prevent the driver's face or head from being injured by the windscreen. And drivers, it's apostrophe S to show actually that it's the driver's face, right? They work in conjunction with seat belts to provide additional protection in crashes. Right. Side impact protection system SIPs consists of a cylindrical metal bar in each car door. According to source 3, they are important because they help to prevent serious injuries to passengers in a car that has been hit in the side. Period. Alright, so in conclusion, as technology continues to advance, cars today need to have advanced safety system. But I think glass windscreens, airbags, and side impact protection SIPs are must-haves. Period. Drive safely on the roads. Vroom, vroom. So that was our punctuation check. This should be it, and we have come to the end of the grade 6 performance task for language arts. I want to thank you very much, and if you have any questions, feel free to drop it in the chat or to let me know. In the comment section, let me know what you think. You can also make suggestions. All right, and thanks again. Good luck. See you soon. Remember to like, subscribe, share, and have a good day.